Welcome, everyone. Today, I have a story that will shock you. This is perfect for your English listening and reading practice, and trust me, you will be shocked by what you hear. In today's world, there are leaders who rule with democracy, and then there are dictators, ruthless rulers, who control everything in their country. One such leader is Kim Jong Un, the supreme leader of North Korea. Some people call him the most dangerous man in the world, while others see him as a mystery. But who is he? Where did he come from? How did he become the ruler of one of the most secretive countries in the world? And what shocking truths are hidden behind his rise to power? Today, I will tell you his entire story from the very beginning, since the day he was born. And let me warn you, his life is not what you expect, the shocking life of a dictator. Kim Jong Un was born on January 8, 1984. But here's the first. Mystery North Korea never confirmed his exact birth year. Some reports say he was born in 1983, while others claim it was 1984. Why? Because in North Korea, everything about the leader is kept secret. Kim Jong Un was born in Pyongyang, the capital of North Korea. But some sources say he might have even been born in Switzerland. Why would a North Korean dictator be born in Europe? This is where things start to get strange. His father was Kim Jong-il, the previous leader of North Korea, and his grandfather was Kim Il-sung, the founder of North Korea. So, Kim Jong-un was born into a powerful family. But even though he was the son of a dictator, his early life was a complete mystery. Nobody knew about him for many years. The secret childhood. Imagine being a child who was born to rule a country, but nobody even knows you exist. That was Kim Jong-un's childhood. His father, Kim Jong-il, had many children, but he kept Kim Jong-un hidden from the public. Why? Because his father had many wives and lovers. Kim Jong-un's mother, Ko Young-ho, was not his father's main wife. She was just a secret lover. So when Kim Jong-un was born, he was not supposed to be the next ruler. His older half-brother, Kim Jong-ham, was the one who was meant to take over. But fate had other plans. As a child, Kim Jong-un lived a life of luxury. While most people in North Korea were suffering from poverty, hunger, and strict government control, he had everything: toys from Europe, video games, expensive food, and private tutors. But even though he had everything, his life was far from normal. His father was obsessed with control. Kim Jong-un and his siblings were not allowed to have friends. They were not allowed to meet outsiders. Everything in their lives was controlled by their father's powerful guards. But here's the shocking part: Kim Jong-un was not raised in North Korea. Instead, he was sent to Switzerland for his education. From 1996 to 2001, Kim Jong-un lived in Bern, Switzerland, under a fake name. He was registered as the son of a North Korean diplomat, and nobody knew he was the future dictator of North Korea. But how was his life there? Surprisingly, Kim Jong-un lived a normal life. He went to school just like any other child. He loved basketball and was a huge fan of the NBA, especially Michael Jordan. He enjoyed playing video games and was obsessed with action movies. He ate cheese, pizza, and hamburgers, things that regular North Koreans could never dream of eating. In Switzerland, Kim Jong-un enjoyed smoking, drinking, and partying. He had many girlfriends. But one day, he did something shocking. He gave the order to have one of them killed. Why? Because she was a singer who was accused of making a video that he didn't like. In his world, even small mistakes could be deadly. But here's where it gets interesting. Even though he was studying in one of the freest countries in the world, Kim Jong-un was not a bright student. He was lazy, uninterested in studies, and often misbehaved. Teachers said he was bad at math and science. but loved art and sports. But the biggest problem, he didn't like Switzerland. Even though he had access to freedom, he still admired his father's dictatorship. He would draw military tanks and war scenes in his notebooks. He would tell his friends that he would one day become a great leader. It was clear that even though he was living in the West, his mind was still controlled by North Korean ideology. And then, suddenly, in 2001, he disappeared. The return to North Korea. At the age of 17, Kim Jong Un was taken back to North Korea. Nobody knows why. Some say his father realized that Kim Jong Un had no interest in democracy and was the perfect successor. Others say that Kim Jong-il had already decided to make him the next ruler. But one thing is clear, Kim Jong-un was transformed. He was forced to train under military generals. He had to study North Korean history and politics day and night. He was taught how to speak like a leader, command an army, and show no emotions. Slowly, the fun-loving boy who once played basketball in Switzerland turned into a ruthless dictator in training. But there was a problem. His older brother, Kim Jong-nam, was still the official heir to North Korea. Kim Jong-nam was still just the second choice. So how did he become the supreme leader? That is where things get even more shocking. Kim Jong-il, their father, was watching both his sons closely. He wanted a leader who was strong, ruthless, and completely loyal to him. Kim Jong-nam, on the other hand, was the opposite of what his father wanted. Unlike Kim Jong-un, Kim Jong-dom loved Western culture. He was interested in computers, movies, and even democracy. In fact, he was so careless that in 2001, he got arrested in Japan while trying to visit Disneyland in Tokyo. This was a huge embarrassment for Kim Jong-il, a future North Korean leader caught sneaking into Japan for Disneyland. It was unacceptable. Kim Jong-il was furious, and this single mistake changed everything. Kim Jong-nam was banished. His father sent him away and never considered him the heir again. He was sent into exile, living in China and later Malaysia. And this was Kim Jong-un's golden opportunity, training a future dictator. Once Kim Jong-il decided that Kim Jong-un would be his successor, he made sure his son was trained in cruelty. He was given full control over North Korea's military. He was made to watch public executions to understand fear and power. He was taught that showing mercy was a sign of weakness. And there was one more thing. Kim Jong-il forced the people of North Korea to worship Kim Jong-un even before he became leader. His face started appearing in government buildings. Songs were written about him. School children were taught that he was a genius leader. But here's the shocking part. Kim Jong-un was just in his early 20s. He had no real experience in politics or military strategy, yet his father was preparing him to rule a country with nuclear weapons. The death of Kim Jong-il. Kim Jong-il's health started getting worse. He had multiple strokes and was losing control. The country needed a new leader fast, and Kim Jong-un knew that if he didn't act quickly, he might lose his chance. Then, in 2011, everything changed. On December 17, 2011, North Korea's supreme leader, Kim Jong-il, died. But here's where things get strange. His death was announced in a very suspicious way. Official reports said he died from a heart attack while traveling on a train. But some experts believe he was actually poisoned. There were no clear medical reports, and some say that Kim Jong-un himself hastened his father's death to take power faster. The moment Kim Jong-il died, North Korea was in complete chaos. The country had no proper system to choose a leader. It was all about who had the most power. And that's when Kim Jong-un made his move, becoming supreme leader. With the military already under his control, he quickly declared himself supreme leader. His father's closest advisors were shocked, but they had no choice, they had to obey him. And just like that, a 27-year-old man with no real experience became the ruler of one of the most dangerous countries in the world. But now came the real challenge: staying in power. Kim Jong Un knew that if he wanted to stay in power, he had to eliminate every threat, and the biggest threat, his own family. His older half-brother, Kim Jong-nam, was still alive and living in exile. If the people of North Korea ever found out that Kim Jong-il's firstborn son was still alive, it could lead to a rebellion. So, Kim Jong-un did something unthinkable: the assassination of Kim Jong-nam. On February 13, 2017, Kim Jong-nam was in Malaysia, walking through an airport. Two young women suddenly came up to him and rubbed a mysterious liquid on his face. Within minutes, Kim Jong-nam started shaking, sweating, and struggling to breathe. He collapsed and died in just 20 minutes. The liquid VX nerve agent, one of the deadliest poisons in the world. It was a perfect assassination. The two women who attacked him had no idea they were killing someone. They were told they were part of a prank show. Kim Jong-un's agents had tricked them into murdering his own brother. This was a clear message to the world. Nobody is safe from Kim Jong-un, not even his own family. But Kim Jong-un didn't stop at his brother. He wanted complete control, and that meant getting rid of anyone who could challenge him, eliminating every threat. In 2013, he executed his own uncle, Jong Song-taek, by firing squad. The official reports said he was a traitor. But the truth, he was too powerful, and Kim Jong-un saw him as a threat. Hundreds of government officials were executed in public to instill fear in the population. Some were killed using anti-aircraft guns, a method so brutal that their bodies were completely torn apart. Even generals and military officers who had served his father for decades were not safe. If Kim Jong-un even suspected that someone was not 100% loyal, they were eliminated immediately. By 2018, Kim Jong-un had removed over 400 high-ranking officials, ensuring that nobody could challenge his rule. A brutal regime. But he didn't just stop at political enemies. Under Kim Jong-un's rule, North Korea became even more brutal. Thousands of people were sent to concentration camps, where they were forced to work until they died. Entire families were punished if one member was suspected of being disloyal. Millions of people were starving, while Kim Jong-un continued to live in luxury, eating imported food, drinking expensive wine, and riding in luxury cars. The country was in a state of total fear. People were not allowed to speak against the government. Even the smallest crime, like watching a South Korean drama, could get you executed. But here's the most shocking part. Kim Jong-un wasn't just controlling the people, he was brainwashing them. The brainwashing of North Korea. Every school in North Korea teaches children that Kim Jong-un is a godlike leader. People are forced to cry at his speeches, or they can be punished. If a person does not show enough love for the leader, their entire family can be sent to a labor camp. It was a level of control that the world had never seen before. The secret personal life of Kim Jong-un. We all know Kim Jong-un as a ruthless dictator man who rules North Korea with an iron fist. But what if I told you that his personal life is just as shocking, mysterious, and unbelievable as his rule? Kim Jong-un's wife, Ri Salru, is one of the most mysterious first ladies in the world. She was a famous singer before marrying Kim Jong-un. Yes, a singer. She was part of North Korea's Unhosu orchestra musical group that performed for the country's elite. Some reports say she was forced into marriage with Kim Jong-un after he saw her perform and became obsessed with her. But here's where it gets even stranger. She suddenly disappeared from public life for months even years. Nobody knew where she was. Some people believed she was killed, while others thought she was locked away in a secret palace. But then, she suddenly reappeared with a totally different look. Some believe she had plastic surgery to match Kim Jong Un's standards. Today, she appears sometimes in public, always smiling, always acting like a perfect wife. But behind the scenes, is she really happy, or is she living in fear? Kim Jong Un's secret children. Kim Jong Un has children, but nobody knows how many. Some reports say he has 3 children with research. The first child is believed to be a boy, possibly the next leader of North Korea. The second child is a girl, and the third child's gender is unknown. But here's the biggest mystery. Kim Jong Un has never officially shown his children to the world. Why? Because he doesn't want anyone to know who will take his place. He is paranoid that his enemies might try to kill his children. He believes that keeping them a secret makes them safer and more powerful. The future of North Korea. But in 2022, his daughter Kim Rue was seen for the first time. She appeared at a missile launch, standing beside her father. Kim Jong Un wants his daughter to be special, so special that no one else in North Korea can have her name. He reportedly banned everyone from using the name Rue. Is she the future ruler of North Korea? Only time will tell. His luxurious life. Kim Jong Un lives like a king while his people suffer in poverty. He owns multiple luxury mansions across North Korea, each one designed for different seasons. He has a private island where he enjoys parties, jet skiing, and luxury vacations. He owns a fleet of expensive cars, including Rolls-Royces, Mercedes-Benz, and even an armored train for traveling. He is obsessed with basketball. He even invited American basketball star Dennis Rodman to North Korea to play with him. But while he enjoys a life of luxury, his people struggle to find food, survive harsh winters, and live under constant fear. Kim Jong Un's biggest fear. For a man who controls an entire country, Kim Jong Un lives in constant fear. His biggest fear: assassination. He never eats food unless it is checked by tasters for poison. He constantly moves between different homes so that no one knows his exact location. He doesn't trust his own guards. He regularly replaces them so they don't get too familiar with his habits. Despite having power, money, and a luxurious life, Kim Jong Un never sleeps peacefully. He knows that his people, his military, and even his own family could turn against him at any time. A dictator. Esse paranoia. Kim Jong Un might appear powerful, but his personal life is full of secrets, fear, and danger. His wife may not be as happy as she seems. His children may not be safe from future power struggles. His love for luxury is creating hatred among his starving people. Despite projecting strength, Kim Jong Un was deeply paranoid. He feared betrayal from those closest to him, his generals, his ministers, and even his own family. He knew that history had seen dictators fall, often at the hands of those they trusted. To maintain his grip on power, he established one of the most ruthless surveillance systems in the world. Every minister, soldier, and even ordinary citizen was spied on. Phones were tapped, conversations were monitored, and even a slight expression of dissatisfaction could result in execution. His most infamous creation, the Pleasure Squad. Young women were hand-picked and trained to entertain the supreme leader and his high-ranking officials. They were forced into secrecy, knowing that revealing any details of their experiences could mean death. Some defectors claimed that women who aged out of the squad were sent to labor camps or simply disappeared. The godlike image of Kim Jong Un. In North Korea, Kim Jong Un was not just a leader, he was portrayed as a godlike figure. The state-controlled media spread bizarre and unbelievable myths about him. They claimed that he never needed to use the bathroom because his body was so pure, that he could control the weather with his emotions, that he wrote 1,500 books during his time as a student in Switzerland, that he could drive a car before he was even old enough to walk. These stories might sound ridiculous, but for North Koreans, they weren't allowed to question them. Doubting the supreme leader was a crime punishable by death. The suffering of the North Korean people. While Kim Jong Un lived in unimaginable luxury, thousands of people suffered in labor camps that were as horrific as Nazi concentration camps. Entire families, including children, were sent to these camps if one person was suspected of disloyalty. Prisoners were forced to work 16 hours a day with little food. Beatings and executions were common. For the people of North Korea, life was a nightmare. For Kim Jong Un, power meant everything, and he would do anything to keep it. A daily reality of horror. Starvation was so extreme that some prisoners resorted to eating rats, insects, or even the flesh of dead prisoners. One defector who managed to escape described how guards forced prisoners to burn the bodies of their dead cellmates, and then spread the ashes over fields as fertilizer. The government denies these camps exist, but satellite images and testimonies from survivors prove otherwise. The world knows the truth, but no one dares to stop him. The mysterious disappearance of Kim Jong Un. In 2020, Kim Jong Un disappeared from public view for weeks, sparking rumors that he was seriously ill or even dead. Some reports suggested he had heart surgery gone wrong, while others claimed he had a stroke due to his extreme weight gain and unhealthy lifestyle. Then, suddenly, he reappeared, but he looked different. Some noticed that his face looked thinner, and he moved differently. Some experts believed he was using body doubles to cover up his declining health. Others even suggested that the real Kim Jong Un was dead, and the person we see today is just a leader surrounded by mystery. Impersonator. While these theories remain unconfirmed, they show how much mystery surrounds North Korea's leader. Even the world's most powerful intelligence agencies struggle to know the full truth. This is the dark reality of Kim Jong Un's ruler man who controls his country through fear, deception, and brutality, all while living in extreme luxury. An empire of fear. Kim Jong Un had built an empire of fear, silencing anyone who dared to challenge him. He executed his own family members, forced his people into modern-day slavery, and created a world where no one could question him. But what if I told you that his greatest enemy was not the world outside but his own country? Is North Korea turning against him? For years, Kim Jong Un controlled information inside North Korea. His people only saw what he wanted them to see: no internet, no social media news from the outside world. But something shocking started happening. Small USB drives with foreign movies and music began secretly entering North Korea from China. Young people began watching South Korean dramas, realizing that the outside world was not the terrible place they had been told. Some even secretly listened to international radio stations, risking their lives to hear the truth. Kim Jong Un was furious. He introduced a law that made watching South Korean content punishable by death. But it was too late. A new generation of North Koreans was waking up. They started to see through his lies. They whispered in secret, questioning everything. Could this be the beginning of the end for Kim Jong Un's greatest fear? Kim Jong Un knew he couldn't survive without the military. A leader losing control. But here's the shocking truth. Even his own generals don't trust him anymore. He constantly changes his top military officers, fearing that they might overthrow him. Some generals have disappeared without explanation, Were they executed? Sent to labor camps? Nobody knows. In 2021, reports suggested that even high-ranking officials secretly hated him, but they stayed silent out of fear. The biggest danger: if the military ever turns against him, his rule will collapse overnight, and guess what? It might already be happening. For years, rumors have spread that Kim Jong Un uses body doubles to appear in public when he is sick or afraid of assassination. Here's why people believe this: his weight and facial features sometimes change drastically. One day, he looks heavier. The next, he looks slimmer. In some appearances, his ears and teeth look different, as if another person is pretending to be him. Experts believe he has at least 2 or 3 lookalikes trained to act like him. If true, this means we may not even be seeing the real Kim Jong Un anymore. So where is he? Is he hiding? Is he already dead? Kim Jong Un's health crisis. Despite his strong image, Kim Jong Un is actually extremely unhealthy. His weight has become a major problem. Some experts say he weighs over 140 kilograms, 310 pounds, and struggles with heart disease. He suffers from severe gout, a painful condition caused by his rich diet of cheese, alcohol, and fatty foods. If Kim Jong Un dies or is overthrown, who takes power? The most feared woman in North Korea. His sister, Kim Yo-jong, is the most feared woman in North Korea. She is just as ruthless as him, maybe even worse. Some believe she is already controlling things behind the scenes. The military might try to take control, but that could lead to chaos and even a civil war. The worst-case scenario. China and the US might get involved, leading to an international crisis. The scariest possibility: if North Korea collapses, millions of people who have lived under a dictatorship will suddenly be free. But without food, money, or resources, it could lead to one of the worst humanitarian crises in history. Is Kim Jong Un's end near? For now, Kim Jong Un remains in power, but history has shown no dictator lasts forever. Some believe he will die from his health problems. Others think he will be betrayed by his own people. And some believe that one day North Korea will rise up and remove him. What do you think? Will Kim Jong Un stay in power? Or is his end coming sooner than we think? If you want to know how people live under Kim Jong Un's dictatorship and more shocking truths about North Korea, already uploaded a video on that. Watch it. It's perfect for your English. This is the shocking, unbelievable story of Kim Jong Un, a leader who built his empire on fear but now faces the greatest danger of all: his own people.